You know what's funny about today's video, ladies and gentlemen? That it's technically quarter of ten o'clock in the morning right now, but today is daylight savings time, which reminds me, happy daylight savings time, everyone. And so it really ought to be 10:42 instead of 9:42. That's pretty much what it is right now. So, yay! Nothing's changed except for a number. Hey, I had to start off with something funny considering that this video is technically on the late side. But then again, it is the weekend. I want to sleep in, darn it. So, you're not really here to lecture, to hear me lecture about, the what's going on now. You want to know what's going on today? Well, it's Sunday, and the weekend is sadly almost over. But not to worry about that because, it's Sunday in the fall, football season. I gotta do my weekly picks, I mean, I can't really do I already made the prediction that the 49ers are going to beat the Raiders, and yeah, again, there's being right and being painfully right. And 34-3 is being painfully right. But, no looking back, no dwelling on that now, other than the fact that I was incredibly right about my prediction on Thursday. Let's focus on today now, shall we? So, the Falcons and the Redskins. Yeah, this one's not difficult for me to decide upon. I mean, the Redskins are in my division. They're one game ahead of us, and I refuse to let anyone except my beloved Cowboys win my division, so I'm picking the Falcons for today. Oh, I should probably iterate that there's no games in London right now, so the fact that it's already technically past 9:30 and technically the game would have started in London at 9:30 means that there's nothing to worry about at all because there's no game in London. So there we go. So yeah, there's no game in London. So pretty much every game I'm talking about is going to be all this afternoon or morning, depending on where in the country you are, because 1 o'clock in the East Coast is 10 a.m. on the West Coast. Fun fact about that is before McDonald's started doing breakfast all day, being like on the West Coast and maybe in Mountain Time, you could actually get McDonald's breakfast and be able to watch the first NFL games that were going on that day on Sunday. I don't know, it just sounded really cool to me. I actually learned that from one of my old college teachers back at Gettysburg College, so that was really cool. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Falcons over the Redskins. Let's see, the Lions and the Vikings. I'm actually kind of surprised the Lions are doing as well as they are. But considering the fact that the Lions got rid of Golden Tate, I really think the Vikings have this one. I mean, the Vikings are coming off a pretty big loss from the New Orleans Saints on Sunday night, which it was a good game, don't get me wrong, and both teams played hard. In fact, if you guys recall on the other day, picking the game between the Saints and the Vikings for Sunday night last week was really difficult for me to do. In fact, it really could have been a toss-up, and it kind of didn't end up being a toss-up anyway, so there you go. But considering the fact that the Vikings came off a pretty big loss, or not big as in like they lost by a lot, but big like they lost to a team that ultimately they could have beaten. Again, that game was kind of a toss-up. So I'm going to pick the Vikings over the Lions. That makes sense. So the Steelers and the Ravens. Okay, no kidding. You guys, I watch a show called Undisputed that's hosted by Skip Bayless and former NFL Super Bowl champion, 3-time NFL Super Bowl champion, Shannon Sharp. And Shannon Sharp actually did a video with James Harrison. See, Shannon Sharp played for the Baltimore Ravens, which actually won the Super Bowl. That was when, with Ray Lewis and like quite possibly one of the greatest defenses of all time, but that's a video for another day. Anyway, Shannon Sharp played for the Ravens, and James Harrison, for all you Steelers fans, played for the Steelers. And yeah, they actually did the video yesterday, which, well, now I know what I have to put now I know what link I have to put in the description now, don't I? Up top, below, or wherever I decide to put it. Anyway, so yeah, check that video out. But the Steelers and the Ravens, this is a tough one. Because it's really going to come, because as much as I really don't care for Ben Roethlisberger, I will give the metaphorical devil his due. He is a good quarterback. And he is able to pick apart a secondary like nobody's business. However, the Ravens secondary is very much in a league of their own, as I've said before in these videos. So this is going to go either way. If the Ravens can somehow give Joe Flacco, who is a very competent quarterback, the ball by the end of the game, and they just happen to be winning by a few points, then I think the Ravens can pull it off. So I think I'm picking the Ravens to win. So, by the way, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, if you happen to be watching this, I really like you guys. Your show is awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. Anyway, so yeah, the Ravens over the Steelers. Then again, you're talking to a guy who doesn't really care for the Steelers, since they have the most Super Bowls in the NFL now, and 2 of them were stolen from my beloved Cowboys, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see, the Chiefs and the Browns. Ooh. Speaking of undisputed, I actually saw this discussion yesterday. Interesting fact about the Chiefs and the Browns game today. You know, the Chiefs quarterback is Patrick Mahomes, and the Browns have quarterback Baker Mayfield. Interesting thing, though, before Baker Mayfield ended up winning the Heisman Trophy when he went to Oklahoma, he actually went to Texas Tech, but he had a bit of a falling out with the coach at Texas Tech, and he ended up, leaving Texas Tech, walked on to Oklahoma, and the rest is Heisman Trophy history. But after he left Texas Tech, the quarterback at Texas Tech ended up being Patrick Mahomes. So, at some point, Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield had to go against each other, and Baker Mayfield won that game. Yeah, that legitimately ended up happening, and that was really cool. This is basically like, you could almost say that this game is basically Mayfield versus Mahomes round 2. In spite of what the significance of this particular game is, and in spite of what's about to happen, and keep in mind, I in no way, shape, or form think Baker Mayfield is a bad quarterback. Not at all. In fact, I've actually been rooting for him. I really have. I mean, the Browns, even though they're a better team than they have been in previous years, they are the underdog of this league, of the entire NFL. And they're definitely showing that they are capable of doing good things. That being said, I'm picking the Chiefs to win this game just simply because, how do I put this? It's like comparing the Bronze Age to the Iron Age. Funny I say the Browns are the Bronze Age when basically brown and bronze are the same color practically. So, yeah, it's basically the Bronze Age, or the Browns, versus the Iron Age, which is the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm sorry, Browns fans, but I really gotta go with the Chiefs on this one. I mean, I predicted that the Chiefs are gonna go to the Super Bowl this year, and I really think that's going to be the case. But make no mistake, I really do like the Browns. I do. I support them in a way. Although, if they play against my beloved Cowboys, then I despise them entirely. Anyway, the Jets and the Dolphins. Ooh, division game. Yeah, the Dolphins have actually been pretty consistent on wins, so I'm going to pick the Dolphins on that one. Let's see. The Bills and the Bears. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know I live near the Buffalo area in upstate New York. I mean, of course I have a soft spot for the Bills, but it's the Bears. They have Khalil Mack. Do I even need to really say what my overall thoughts on this one is? I gotta go with the Bears for this one. I love saying the Bears. Seriously, I think outside of the wonderful Chicago cuisine, using the word "duh" instead of "the" may very well be the most awesome thing Chicago has ever done. Hey, listen, you guys have really crazy weather. You have to make it up for something. I don't know. Anyway, Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers. Well, I don't really care for Cam Newton just because how much of a crazy showboater he is. And I'm honestly not entirely surprised that all the Buccaneers are thinking about moving away from Jameis Winston because I honestly never thought Jameis Winston was as good as everybody made him out to be. To be perfectly honest, I was always on Team Mariota, just saying. And the Buccaneers are moving on to Ryan Fitzpatrick, or Fitzmagic, as some people like to refer to him as. So, yeah, this is a difficult one to do so. Even though I think the Panthers are going to win, I'm still going to pick the Buccaneers. Come on, Tampa Bay, do not prove me wrong. Please not prove me wrong. The Chargers and the Seahawks. The Chargers have actually been playing very well. Like, a lot better than I was expecting. And the Seahawks are not really much of a slouch either. That being said, I don't know. Well, since I have one uncle who's a Broncos fan, I'll get to that in a moment, and one uncle who's a Seahawks fan, I guess I better go with the Seahawks. See, the Broncos and the Chargers are in the same division, so I should probably root against the Chargers. Anyway, speaking of the Broncos and the Texans. You know what? I want the Texans to pay for what they did to my beloved Cowboys. Denver, let Von Miller loose, please. Let him do his thing. Let Von Miller knock the bejeepers out of Deshaun Watson and get past. And somebody stop J.J. Watt, please. I'm picking the Broncos to win over the Texans. The Rams and the Saints, or as I like to call it, the NFC Championship ahead of time. Quite possibly. Yeah, you guys, I made this no secret before, but I definitely have a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl in mind. But to get to the Super Bowl, the Rams would obviously have to win the NFC Championship. And the two most likely teams I could see going up against the Rams in said NFC Championship are the Saints and the Bears. That's why I'm calling today's game of the week, again, the NFC Championship ahead of time. That being said, it's really going to come down to who has the better offense, or who has the bigger sword, as I like to say. And, man, this one's hard. This could easily be, again, I'm telling you, this is the NFC Championship game ahead of time. So, and you can quote me on that. It is. This is the NFC Championship game ahead of time. That are the Rams and the Bears. So, yeah. And this is hard too because I like Drew Brees. And I like Jared Goff. I like Todd Gurley. I like, Marshawn. I like a lot of guys on both teams. I don't know who to pick here. I really don't. Boy. Well, on the one hand, no, I seriously doubt the Rams are ever going to go 16-0 before the regular season is over. I know at some point they're going to lose. Either they're going to lose because they want to save their guys up for the playoffs and they want to, go at half speed or whatever, or whatever. But at the same time, I do like rooting for the underdog, and I would like to see how long the Rams can go undefeated before they finally are defeated at some point. So, you know what? I'll get into my overall thoughts on another game momentarily, But for now, I'm going to choose the Saints, and I'll tell you why as I talk about tonight's game, which is the Packers and the Patriots. All week, people have been talking, oh, who's the GOAT? Who is the greatest of all time? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? First of all, it's Tom Brady, and a discussion. Second of all, Aaron Rodgers? Really? I mean, did we forget about Drew Brees already? You know, did we forget about Russell Wilson? Did we forget about Eli Manning? I'll even put some younger quarterbacks up there against Aaron Rodgers, like, again, Jared Goff, or Patrick Mahomes, or Baker Mayfield, or Joe Flacco's not young, I just forgot to mention a moment earlier. But yeah, there are plenty of quarterbacks who are just as good, if not possibly better than Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, no surprise here. Tonight, I'm picking the Patriots to win. That goes without saying. So, yeah. Can't believe I'm saying this again after so long, but go Patriots. So, yeah, the Saints I'm picking to win today just because if I have to choose between Drew Brees and Jared Goff, I think most people would pick Drew Brees. But honestly, let's be honest, and picking between the Saints and the Rams is basically a loaded question. No matter what I do, I'm most likely going to be wrong. And that's not just based on opinion. So, yeah. So, I guess I'll pick the Saints. I'm picking the Patriots for tonight. And tomorrow night's game, the Titans and... Like I even need to think about this one at all. Go Cowboys! So, yes. So, to recap, the Falcons, the Vikings, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bears, the Buccaneers, the Seahawks, the Broncos, the Saints, although that one I swear is going to go either way probably, the Patriots, and of course, go Cowboys. So those are my picks. Agree, disagree, and you can possibly yell at me if I'm wrong about any of these at some point. I don't know. So anyway, like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support on YouTube. Follow me on social media platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And as always, I'm very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hopefully you'll have a wonderful Sunday that involves watching a lot of football. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear, and I'll always have your back. Take care, everybody.